And at the half, the Kings lead by 2, 63-61. Ryan in Sacktown, joined by the one and only Jerry Reynolds. How you doing this afternoon, Jerry?
Well, really good. Obviously, this is a huge, fun game to watch. Obviously, neither team guards anybody so far, but the pace is great, and ball movement looks good. I think the thing that worries me right now, Rhino, is I'd like to see the Kings play a little more zone, really, to stop the straight line drives. How many straight line, and the Bulls are really getting the Kings into switches to where you got Sabonis out on the floor. He has to cover wings and stuff, and so that opens the basket completely up.
Yeah, it's a great point, Jerry. They give up 30 in the first quarter, 33 in the second quarter to a team that really likes to shoot the three ball. So they're driving them off the line. But, Jerry, what do you do about kind of combating those mismatches, per se, if they stay in man?
Yeah, I would try not to switch as much. That's for sure. I think certainly that's created some of the problems. They've got kind of hung up on switches, and then it's really more about the spacing of the Bulls because they don't have anybody in the post, so the whole thing is spread out. So it's much easier for guys to go to the basket when there's nobody at all in there, and so that's a issue there. Then I guess the second thing, and I mean really the big issue I think so far, the Kings are not forcing anything pressure wise. Or
Right.
the Bulls are able to move the ball comfortably. No, that's what's been good about the Kings defense the last since Christie took over. I mean, forcing a lot of turnovers, and to win the game, they're going to have to start doing that in the second half.
Yeah, you nailed it, Jerry. They've only given up, or they've only forced 3 turnovers in this game. And I know the telecast has said this. We've said it multiple times on the channel. Defense has been turning into offense for the Kings. De'Aaron Fox makes his return. Jerry, first half, he has 9 points on 4 of 9 shooting. What were your thoughts in his minutes?
Well, he looks like a guy that's coming off injury, a little bit of rust. Didn't really look like he was totally into the flow. I would expect him to look better in the second half. The only thing I thought too, I thought that Monk was probably playing a little out of control at times.
Yeah.
That's who he is. That's what makes him good, but sometimes it makes him not so good. And I think he might back off and really let Fox have a couple more opportunities. But all things considered, though, I thought De'Aaron played pretty darn well.
Yeah, De'Aaron, 9 points. You've only got 2 Kings in double digits, 13 for Malik, 10 for DeMar DeRozan. Jerry, this feels like one of those games that you let the Bulls hang around a little too much, like the Celtics let the Kings. It's not going to work out so much in Sacramento's favor.
No, it really won't. And they're a home team, and so they're a team. That I think getting Lonzo Ball back, I think, has made a huge difference because what it does, besides Lonzo's talent, clearly he's learned how to shoot the three ball. We knew that before the injuries, but he and Giddy together give him two guys who can really make plays off the dribble, make others better. Now Levine can beat people off the dribble; he's not necessarily a playmaker, but I think Ball does change the dynamic of this team. That
Yeah.
really makes them tough to match up with. And I think if he could stay healthy, and then of course Kobe White's an excellent player who's not playing, they might start surprising teams in the East.
Yeah, Kobe White. That is the one that caught my eye. Now, him not playing because that completely changes the dynamic for Chicago too, to a degree.
Yeah, he's another guy who can really score the ball. Like I say, they're not having trouble scoring, but I do think that what I see in the Bulls is a little bit what I've seen in the Kings in the past is they're going to be able to get 110, 15 points a night. Can they stop anybody? But they're excellent offensive team. There's no doubt about that right now. And for the Kings to win, they're going to have to become a better defensive team. We know the Kings can score, but you got to get some stops.
Yeah, absolutely. The Kings down 2 right now to the Chicago Bulls at the half, 63-61. Don't forget, we will be with you post game, taking your calls and resetting this one. The Kings look to go a game over 500 and win their 7th in a row. Jerry, any big differences between the ball movement that we've seen in this 6-game winning streak versus the ball movement today?
I don't think much. I mean, I think certainly Domas has been brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. And I think the more he has the ball and people move, I think the better the Kings are going to be, because I don't know how many. He's got about 6 assists or whatever, I think, and no turnovers as far as I know. And I mean, so it's very unselfish play. Like I say, I thought Monk might have forced a few things, but other than that, that's kind of who he is. Why he makes him good, but strength becomes a weakness sometime. But no, the offense really, I see no problems with the offense. It's all on the defensive end.
Defensive end, indeed. Yeah, those 50-50 balls, Jerry, it seems like they've been bouncing the Kings' way the last 6 games. Today, not so much in an early game. And how does an early game affect a team, especially on a road trip?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, obviously they had a day off in between,
Yeah,
and so it's definitely a little earlier game here. Now, the reason I say it's not too much because the team practices on a regular basis earlier than this would be if they
right.
were home. So I think that's the only thing I look at, is if it's something unusual when you're actually playing basketball, and it's really not. So I don't think there's any excuse. If they'd have had to play back to back or something, that might be a factor.
Yeah, no doubt. And in some ways, this might be the most difficult one. You're coming off the biggest win of the season, arguably the biggest win in 2 seasons. And this is kind of the exclamation mark to roll into Milwaukee with hopefully a winning road trip, Jerry, if you pull this one off today in the second half.
But yeah, that's a great point, Rhino. I mean, I've always kind of believed in the John Wooden theory. To try the peaks and valleys. Try to avoid the peaks. Don't let yourself get on that peak, because the valley might occur. Just keep it even. And certainly after a huge win in Boston, obviously you have a tendency to get a little puffed up about yourself. And right now the Bulls have kind of established that you better not get too puffed up, because you're going to get depuffed.
Yes, that is a very good point. Depuffed. That's a good one. I like
Yeah.
that. I might use that from now on. So a lot.
Yeah, well, I've been depuffed most of my life over the years, so I know all about
I
that.
love it. A lot of talk about the minutes, Jerry, and how Doug Christie would handle it with De'Aaron Fox coming back. We saw the regular starting five. I want to divert from the minutes and move towards the combinations. Is there a certain combination of guys that you would like to see get some extended run here in this second half?
You know, I
No.
not really. I mean, I like the starters. I like what he's doing. I mean, it's tough, to get Devin Carter minutes. And really, Kevin Herter's played very well in the
Yep.
first half. I mean, it's really a case of you've got a lot of guys to play, and you're not going to get them really, with the exception of maybe Sabonis, uh, who's going to get for sure 35, 38 minutes. I mean, there's enough depth at other positions. There really isn't at Domas's spot. So just kind of go with the hot hand, I think. But Ellis looks good. Certainly, Keegan is playing
Yep.
extremely well. You know, Lyles hadn't found it for sure, but he will. And so, other than, like I say, I'd like to see Devin Carter play more, but I don't know where the minutes would
See,
come from. I don't want to. I don't want to take them from
yeah,
anybody.
the thinking is, maybe those are, I've said it a few times, Kevin's minutes possibly, but even if he's not scoring, the deflections, the steals have been there, and he's cutting too, which does a lot for this offense, Jared.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I think Kevin's played very well. I mean, and so if he is, then it's tougher to get Devin the minutes. And totally agree with you. That's where you would think his minutes would come more, probably from Herter than anyone else. So I think that's probably how Coach Christie will view it and
Yeah,
do it.
definitely. The Kings looking to hopefully shoot the three ball a little bit better here in the second half. Only 22.2%. Jerry, we've kind of covered the first half. Any other keys to the second half for you?
Well, other than forcing turnovers, I'd like to see him pick up the ball
Okay.
quicker. Pick up and try to get these dribblers turned. Don't let them just get down and into the offense with 18, 19 seconds on the clock, which we've seen. So just take because if you force that issue and make them work to get it into the play at 14 seconds, that takes at least one good option off the board. And so that could make all the difference. So ball pressure, pace, pace, pace. And I think the Kings
Yeah,
will
it's
be
a great
fine.
point. Inside out basketball has to continue. The Kings winning the Battle of the Paint 34-26 so far. I think you got to keep going through Sabonis. As you said, he's riding a monster. I mean, if Sabonis finishes off this second half and the Kings get this win, I don't see how you can't put his name near the top of the list for Western Conference Player of the Week.
I don't either. I mean, obviously there's a lot of deserving. There's always several deserving players, but he would be one of them.
Certainly.
Sure.
So give us your final scores. Jerry, it has come that time to send you off to football here in a few minutes and some more Kings. But first, what's your final score?
Kings 120, Bulls 113.
113. Jerry's got it. Jerry, thank you so much for joining us at the half as always. And your Chiefs, they've got a week off. So you scouting the rest of the AFC?
Yeah, I got it. I was really happy for the Bills because that means the Chiefs get to play the Houston Texans instead of having to play Baltimore. So that's I think a good thing. You never know.
But that was a surprising.
So it's all good in Chiefs land and Kings land.
No doubt. That was surprising yesterday that the Texans won that game.
Oh, it really was. I mean, I thought the Chargers would win, and I mean Herbert was just awful, really. Just obviously he's still a fairly young quarterback, but he just had an awful game, and a little surprised, but that's the game. I mean, it's a one-game tournament, so you win or go home.
Yeah, the Steelers, they lose 5 to end their season. Crazy.
Yeah, I'm probably as amazed that they won as many games as they did, more than they lost. I mean, when you watch the Steelers, I mean, they're hard-nosed, they play hard, but their level of talent compared to the better teams just doesn't match up. So
I hear you, Jerry. Be glad that when you were coaching, there's not this AI or wasn't this AI that's around, because they've got these videos out with guys that do voiceovers in the coach's voices, just saying everything that the fans are thinking, but the coach never says.
Oh Lord. Yeah. That would have been, that would have been traumatic for me. I couldn't have handled that. That's for sure.
Doubt. Jerry, thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, buddy. All right, that is the one and only Jerry Reynolds. Give us your scores. Don't forget, we are back after the game, taking your phone calls, hopefully talking about a 7th straight win for this Kings team. As we get your scores up, we will put the first half stats there as well. Elijah, he's going Kings 118. Bulls 110. All right, Elijah, I see you. Mark's got the Kings 105, Bulls 103. Oh, you're going to hold him to 40 in the second half. I like it. Jay, what's up, Jay? Tell Kathy hello for me. 121 to 117, 133, 120 or 120. Cody's going Bulls. Yeah, to me, it completely comes down to exactly what Jerry said. It's the pressure. It is the defense. You have got to start forcing some turnovers. In fact, the Kings have only 3 points off of the Chicago Bulls, 3 turnovers. Can they get that going? Also, De'Aaron Fox, he has got to get going as well. And if he doesn't, then you need to look somewhere else, continue working him back into the fold over the next couple of games. But movement and ball movement, absolutely key in this one. Didn't see as much of it from that first unit right out of the gate. And it goes without saying, 50-50 balls for this team. They have got to get to those. As the second half gets ready to start, we'll get these last ones up. Kings 117, 111, 112, 106. OT by John Finch. All right, we will see you after the game. Make sure you come back. Kings, Bulls, third quarter just starting right now. We'll see you for the post-game show. Your calls right after the game.